Yeah, and again, that's part of what I call working it backwards, because people really don't know what causes their cancer. They go in and get a diagnosis, and their oncologist will go through a minute or two of the human genome and genetics, and which is a bunch of gobbledygook, and then he or she will throw his hands up in the air and say, "We really don't know." And I would say to that patient, "Gee, I don't want to go see that guy. He doesn't know why I have it, or essentially what it is. I want to go see someone who knows." That's the walking it backwards. You know, cancer is caused largely today, well, this much of it is genetic, very little is if you're carrying a BRCA1 or 2, you know, a defective gene, which is possible, but it still doesn't mean you're going to get cancer. But most of it is not genetic. Most of it is actually driven by epigenetics, and that's what people need to understand. There is a difference. If genetics is your computer, if it's the hardware, then epigenetics is the software. And we all know that the software drives the hardware. It is really the brains. That's what epigenetics is, and that's what cancer is. You know, we know the right foods have always been epigenetic, always. The right raw organic foods, because they will provide the nutrients in the body that will keep all of those pathways open and moving, the methylation pathways, the enzymatic pathways, the things that really drive the body and drive the genetics as well. So cancer is not genetic, and if you're in a room full of oncologists and your first line of your speech is that cancer is not genetic, they'll probably throw you out right away. And I had a good geneticist, Dr. Alfredo Galvez, told me that, and he started with that line, and boy, they were mad at him. But it's true nonetheless, and we have to deal in truth. So the 5 things are the right diet. If you don't do the right diet, you're not going to get there. It's very difficult to get there. You can't do this much right and eat at Burger King and drink Coca-Cola and milkshakes and French fries, unless you're one patient I know who did all the wrong things, but he did enough right things and he survived and thrived. But I don't recommend that. So it's the right diet, it's the right supplementation, it's the right water, it's the right detoxification, critical, as we talked earlier about, and exercise, and the right exercise for those people who are able to do it. And by the right exercise, you know, it's different for different people. Obviously, I don't recommend swimming in chlorinated pools, but if you can swim, that's good, or walk or run or whatever you can do. I'm 65, I'm still an active runner at my age, and it's good for me. I love it, but it's not for everyone. We have whole body vibration equipment now, which is, it is so good that it was unbelievable for us to read the research on this, and I won't go into all of it. But anyone, almost anyone, we had an ALS patient who was paralyzed. All he could move was his eyes, and we got his legs, his feet on this whole body vibration machine. And he smiled as well as he could. You could see it in the corner of his eyes. These will help everyone if you know how to do it, what to do. They're very cost effective today. Detoxification, PIO, precision intestinal oxidative hydrotoning. No one else in the world does it except the organization that we're with up in the Seattle, Washington area, and we're trying to get more people trained. It's absolutely incredible. It floods the body with oxygen through ozone. It uses perfected water. It looks like colonic hydrotherapy to start, but it goes way beyond that. It's not typical to what anyone else is really doing, and that's why the results are stunning, truly stunning. We drink the right water because the right water, the right ionized water heals. Our bodies are electric. Our cells run at a certain millivoltage, and if they're not there, you're sick. You're acidic and you're inflamed. Most people are that way today because they've got chronic sickness and disease. So we have to change that. There's not many ways to change that. How do you change the millivoltage in a cell? It used to be you eat a raw, vegan, organic diet because vegetables are very, very alkaline. Alkaline, millivoltage, they work together. And so, and many say are exactly the same thing. But now the best way to do it is through a specific kind of ionized water that runs at -300 to -800 millivolts, and it will raise that cell voltage. If you don't raise the cell voltage to 50, -75, you're not going to heal. You need that voltage to heal. And so very few people know about that. Dr. Jerry Tennant wrote a couple books on healing his voltage. I encourage everyone to read those, and you'll understand why this ionized water, and I promote specifically KangenWater because I have not seen anything that is comparable to date. And you'll be able to understand how it works, and the common layperson can get that, and they can understand how it works. But it's incredibly important. And then the right supplementation. We use a couple. We use the Relive products. Some people will want to give me heartburn on that, but I said no. I've done the research. I know what works and what doesn't work as far as supplements go, because we test them in the human body. You can test everything you want in the Petri dish. It's not the same thing, folks. And you can tell me this isn't good for people or this isn't good, but you better darn well show me the research. And I'll show you the research. And so we use the Relive products, we use the Purium products, we use some others because they are the best and they're time tested now in the human body. And most cancer patients need to get more nutrition than they can. When people are very sick with cancer, they turn to comfort wherever they can find it. Sure. Most of that is in the wrong foods and the sugar. So it's very difficult for them to eat anything. And so we're not going to get them to eat 5 pounds of organic kale and 5 pounds of organic broccoli and 5 pounds of organic carrots and so on and so forth every day. But you know, they really need that overwhelming nutrition that is inherent in those types of foods, those phytochemicals, the phytonutrients in there. So where do you get them? You get them from synergistic supplements where you can get rough equivalents of that, and you can consume it. A cancer patient can then consume it and kind of flood or overwhelm the body with nutrition, which is not only imperative for cancer patients, but others who are struggling with sickness and disease.